So I'm like a spiritual healer, right? Because I like to bring the truth to this world. And I'm gonna show you how I'm done with TikTok, right? Because I got one of my videos muted because I put one of my songs out to do like a little promotional so people can hear it. As soon as it got to 700 views, they muted it because I slipped some music in there that was too long. So now that is my fault. But then people be reporting stuff too because like I had that song on here for the longest, but then they get reported as soon as it started getting some views. And look at this witch trial, right? This is a witch trial. This is why they banned witchcraft and stuff because back in the day, what happened was, this was the first one, Joan Wright. This is when they first banned it. What she ended up doing was she basically was a midwife. A midwife is somebody that delivers babies. That's like a female, in case, because some dudes don't know that females know way more than us because they go to the doctor way more. They get way more terms. They talk to psychologists. You know what I'm saying? They study themselves. They know way more than us men. We just know more about the physical realm. Women know more about the eternal thing. So what she was basically a witch doctor. She was trying to tell people something about delivering the baby, but because she was left-handed, they didn't want her to deliver the baby. She was left-handed. They didn't want her to deliver the baby. The baby ended up dying from somebody else delivering the baby. They blamed her. They blamed her. She ain't had nothing to do with it. So end up, look, 1626, what the family ended up doing was they end up getting her executed. When them getting her executed, the thing that she said before her execution was basically like, well, God have mercy on y'all soul. Because it's like you can't tell people things. What goes viral in TikTok is something like this. Like I did an Instacart, right? And when I be asked for pickles, look at all them pickles. They even put pickles under the cheese because you got people that want to play around with your food. And then I got the food, it's like if it looked like somebody squeezed it like this before they threw it in the bag. Like somebody's mad because I wanted pickles on my sandwich. It's crazy. People get mad like they at work mad for something else that's bothering them, and then they take it out on anybody else. That's what's called being demonic. And look, this right here is like why Africans be knowing how to split each other's tribes up because they do something with their hair that's gonna end up going over a long string of time. Like with my hair being curly, it reminds me that I'm Greek and Egyptian from Kemet because I can contact my ancestors, which is Zeus. And Zeus tells me about Kronos, Gaia, and all these different ancestors that we got because your blood can get controlled by them ancestors. They that powerful. Like they can come down and they can do some things in reflex to show you things. And when you have a near death experience, your whole life will flash before your eyes like this. And I done had three near death experiences. I done woke somebody up from sleep paralysis. I done seen somebody almost like have a seizure. I done stopped somebody from having a seizure before with an ambulance told me like if I ain't call them 15 seconds later, he probably would have passed away and died and shit in front of me because it's things that you got to read called body language. Body language is like once you learn how your body acts to certain things, it helps you as a witch doctor just know how other people body acts to things because it's a chemical imbalance. So all these food things that they coming out, they going to tell you all these drugs, all these bugs, all these different things, chemicals, X and Professor X is in the drugs and food, but you can't be contaminated if you are one of the people that know that the sun heals everything that goes inside of your body. You just got to go outside and exercise by walking. You walk to whatever destination you go, but because we've been using cars to get everywhere, the oxygen been messed up by humans ourselves. We like literally the robots. We think with like artificial intelligence instead of emotional intelligence to know that we are harming the environment with things that we keep buying. Every time you buy another iPhone, it's another resource of plastic that has to be used. So that's why they keep getting you to turn in the old one. And then it's the same phone over and over and over, like the same cars over and over. Mercedes, if you buy a Benz, you'll see that the Benz back in the 80s got more features than a car that comes out in 2024. And you be like, what? Because they're not evolving technology. They was devolving that and they devolving humans the same way. Cause man, I can show you Corvettes. They had to mess up the cars because people used to sleep in them and they ain't in homes. So that was the first way people avoided taxes by keep moving on the road. That's how different parties happen, like Woodstone or whatever. I don't know the name of that one. But then we know Freaknik. Freaknik was just a whole bunch of people that ain't had no money, decided to get together, get a camcorder, and once they recorded the habitat, it was just loved by a whole different other culture of people because they was like, oh, those people look free because you got to teach people what freedom is. You can't teach people what freedom is until you're a slave. And then the ones that be complaining about slavery, they usually don't even go through hardship. They be having, because I done talked to a girl that spoke with psychologists after psychologists, and they kept denying her psychology because they was like, look, you don't have no problem. You just making them. And she became a narcissist after that until she finally found a woman psychologist that was willing to take her money and listen to all her problems, because women can listen to some feet. They can listen to some problems, then they'll abandon you as soon as they don't need you as a source no more. But that's not a man or a woman thing. That's just how life goes. People do that. Men learn how to do that too, but men come from women. That's why I be like, man, we learn the game from women. We learn from our mothers or whoever. Like, oh, boom, look at this car. Dang, I don't think I can get in there. Look at that. That's a Corvette. You was not gonna see no cars like that where people can cuddle up in a fetus position, sleep in the back of the whip. Like they not gonna make. That's a 1967 Tornado. They not making cars like that no more. They used to have vans. People used to put the bed in the van, sleep in the van, and just sleep on the road. And then they had to upgrade that to, like, you know what I'm saying, the RV homes and stuff, because we started fighting the system. That's all the Bible is about. Fight the system, fight the power that's controlling you. And then Jesus, he didn't refuse to fight, but he was just like such a damn astonishing person that they had to write about him. This man was healing a lot of people, waking people up from like almost dying, everything, like, and woke people up from the dead. Like, bro was different. But look at this. So until people start waking people up from the dead, but see, I get views and stuff on here, but it don't add up to nothing. I ain't making no money off this. I'm giving free knowledge. You feel me? And then with me giving free knowledge, stuff keep getting reported. Like, so I'm like, all right, man, I'm done with the internet. Because I'm about to go off grid. I'm gonna give y'all a quick demonology lesson, because God created demons. So God creating demons, they come from different areas, right? So demons that come from Mars is ones that inhabit men. They show it in Space Jam. So what happened in Space Jam, Michael Jordan was one of the spirits that got to see these demons, and when he saw the demons, they made a bet with him. They're like, hey, we stole your friend's souls already. That's why they can't do the things that they thought they could do. Now, we having your friend's soul, if you want their souls back, we gonna have a bet with you that you can't get their soul back in this game. If you win this game, you get their souls back. If you don't win the game, we get your soul. Now, it's all about contracts. That's why he don't mess with black people. He had Bugs Bunny and them as the enlighteners. Those were some people that already guided him, because those are characters that he familiar with that was teaching him about demons. They teach you about demons in Looney Tunes too. Angel on one shoulder, devil on the other. Bugs Bunny always going down the hole and coming out in the wrong end because he took the... Yeah, I gotta come with the do-rag on like Piccolo to drop this knowledge for y'all, because people are programmed. What does program mean? It means that you were raised and you was televised by a network of situations. And with the network of situations, they knew y'all wasn't going to be reading that Bible. If you was reading the Bible, you would see everything relates to it, because it created sin. If it created sin, it tells you every sin known to man. But the people in the book didn't have the book to read the sin. So while Jesus is the Savior, because you have to use his words to reveal the revelations of what's going on in life, they've been told you it was the Matrix. It was the end of the world in every generation, because you got to drop the weapons and pick up the knowledge. Picking up the knowledge is knowing you go somewhere after this life. So if you want to take people's life while you here, you're going to leave yourself in this atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's a sphere, it's a ball, it's a rolling universe. Yeah, that's what they tried to make it look like in school, but school is another program in a system of injustice, because it doesn't teach you the true nature of history. And then there's a lot of people that don't even pay attention in school that disrupted it for everybody else. So we were supposed to study our peers also. And when you study your peers, you don't fall under any peer pressure, because if you fall under peer pressure, then later you're going to be talking blasphemy like, oh, they made me do this, they made me do that. When you made yourself do every decision, because you have control of your mind. But if you don't have control of your mind, then you let other people subconsciously dictate where you move. And that's how voodoo works, because it's people just jumping in your subconscious like, I'm gonna be there forever. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't forget them, then you lose memory of self. When you lose memory of self, then something else is gonna take over your venture. And if it takes over your venture, you ain't gonna see the adventure. You're gonna be advertised by the situations. Let me go to SpongeBob for you, because SpongeBob taught everybody the Bible, and they were like, oh man, that shit has sin, because you gotta learn sin. If you don't learn sin, then you don't know, again, how to escape it. Because people don't know, like, I was raised by Bob, you know what I'm saying? And Bob taught me, that's actually my granddaddy name too. Bob taught me the builder that you got to be a sponge in the game, soaking up this world and enjoying this atmosphere, because everybody is underwater, you know what I'm saying? And then when you see them sandy cheeks with pride, they came from a whole nother universe. So shoot, they gonna see something different than what we see. So they can be stuck in a bubble, but then with them stuck in a bubble, you got homies that's gonna be under a rock trying to be a star. Fish, you know what I'm saying? Are you fishing with me? And then you got people that can't see past their nose because the Squidward blows, you know what I'm saying? They can't use their instrument, and because they can't use their instrument, they gotta spread their wrath at a job that they don't consider what they want, because they stuck with the crabs in the bucket who got the mentality of selling his own family for sales, and then his daughter who's a pearl, that's the only thing that he got, you know what I'm saying? So that's a whole nother situation. So he had to adopt this daughter, you know what I'm saying? And then you got, who else was a sin? Mr. Krabs was greed. Then you got Gary, who was left at home. Gary is the snail that was gluttony, because he just mix up any type of appetite, but he stays out of other things. And gluttony is what gets people in the bathroom, because a gluttonous thought is when you go to the store and you start mixing items because you don't know what to get, and then you might get sour belch. And that is back with Belphegor, the angel that didn't decide if he wanted to fight for the demons or the angels, so he still got kicked out of heaven, because God don't play that. You got to pick a side. It ain't no one side of the fence. And then who next? Who next? Who else I got to mention? You got Plankton, who was envious, a little insect, the bug that was trying to check everything that was going on instead of fixing his secret sauce. He wanted to find the other one, and when he found the other one, he was like, oh man, they ain't doing nothing but selling family. Yeah, so that's what you got to figure out. Insurance, because on the other side of the fence, it ain't Greener, it ain't Piccolo, you know what I'm saying? I think I mentioned all the SpongeBob characters, because SpongeBob Lust, who was that? Sandy was Pride, you got Squidward was Wrath, you got Patrick is Sloth, you got Plankton is Envy, Krabs is Greed, and then who am I missing? Am I missing somebody? Oh, Gary Gluttony. Yeah. So that's the 7 deadly sins of under the sea. Because you leave again from the stomach. That was a whole universe you was in. You know what I'm saying? We was in our father's universe, which is Mars. That's men. You go to your mother, Venus. Then you in the belly. That's Neptune. Like, all these are just organs of how we transfer. And it tells you in the Bible, but then it's all in codes, because you have to find out the names of who they talking about and which God is doing which curse or which blessing on them, because they tell you the names of them different gods in there. And GAD is a god of fortune, good and bad, that I teach people. That was the Judea, and the Judea is where Jesus and John the Baptist, Judean desert, is where they found Satan, because they saw this, everybody want riches here, but they want riches on the outside, not the inside, because you have to enrich the body to know that your intestines have different things that goes on with it. So that's the test system. If you can control your intestines, you can control your intuition. Controlling your intuition, you can guide your mind to see beyond the blind things, because you're supposed to read people with your heart. You read people with your heart by learning body language, because we all throw out frequencies, signals, and all that. So just learning each other heart, learning like the enlightenment or what frequency somebody is speaking from, that's how you know who is really a prophet or who's a false prophet. Because some people out here not teaching anything. They just saying, oh, look at this, look at that, you know what I'm saying? And it's trillions of things in the world. The phone works trillions of ways, it don't work two ways. So everybody want to become a private investigator or detective on here, or just on YouTube, anything. You got your own way of life to live. So somebody gonna give you the correct guidance. If you got this message, you can pass it on. Well, you know what I'm saying? You just subconsciously download it, and later on take it with you. Message on your phone. So a lot of people don't understand this, but it's get out of us, basically. It's a spirit that can take over people's soul. And they explain that in the movie, how people do it, because they put stuff in our subconscious through school. We was being washed. But when he doing these tears, that's that spirit of Jesus washing over him, waking him up, because he couldn't be possessed by them. He couldn't be possessed by them because he knew himself, so he already knew what he was going through. Like, he knew what they was doing on him. But it's a long story, man. Once you find that spirit, like, I'm gonna give you a prime example, right? Boom Gang. everybody knew about Boot Gang when he was stealing. As soon as he started speaking about the spirit of Jesus, bro, just they don't show him. He don't get as many viral views. It's something about his world. Something about his world. All right, what this is, people don't hide secrets. They put it in our face, like, but for them to put it in our face, we got to find out what it actually means. So these are different examples of religions. And with it being different examples of a religions, it teaches you the after process of life and the process of life while you in it. These are the fates. So, fates is faith. So these are people who actually measure your time. Like they have a string of your hair, and as soon as it's time for you to go, they cut it. But people with divine wisdom, they actually know how to talk to the fates because they just like crossroads, they oracles. They can appear in people. That's why they got that eye. They watch us, like they look at life through your lenses. Okay, the little mermaid, that's the process of like being birthed in 9 months. You're in like your father's world, which is the sea, and then you get spread into your mother's world, and then you grow. And right now we getting sea legs, so it's hard for some people to breathe when they get out here. When it being hard for them to breathe, they in here, they swimming in here, and they not functioning the willpower of the body. So sometimes you just gotta do this to remind yourself you are in control. You know what I'm saying? If you can control all this, don't let all that outside shit control this. All right. Now this right here, this, of course, is African wisdom. This is about the whole cycle of life, how the son has to replace the father, but then you have to see he got the strength from the woman that was divine wisdom because he was out there in the wilderness lost where he was having fun with his friends. And then when that woman found him, she reminded him, you have a whole kingdom you need to come back and protect because his uncle took it over. His uncle took it over without knowing how the kingdom would survive because his uncle just wanted that power. His uncle wanted that power because that was actually his uncle's tribe at first. So his uncle had ended up killing Mufasa off, but didn't notice that the hyenas created famine in the village because the people that he used to take it over, they was some thirsty dogs, you know what I'm saying? And they started eating so much, the lions who had kept the order they lost all the spiritual creatures that they needed around them because the cycle of life wasn't processing, like they wasn't creating new you know what I'm saying, babies and stuff. Because this actually happened in Australia one time with rabbits ended up eating so much that animals started dying off because one dude wanted to go rabbit hunting in his backyard. And then when he let them rabbits out in Australia, them motherfuckers ate so many plants and vegetation that deers and all these other animals was starting to go extinct because they couldn't survive. So you gotta know the actual animal nature of people, animals, the cycle, and then you can see above it. Like if you know astrology, the whole stars, that's just knowing zodiac signs. That is astrology, but it's a hidden sign. Once you learn out the hidden sign, you find out how to get out of your symbol or your astrology sign, and you can see beyond the clouds, and then you actually know what people are going to do before they do it, because it's all a math equation. If somebody is thinking as the zodiac sign, they kind of attach in that matrix, and when you think like the zodiac sign, you move like it until you like actually explore more of the world to get that all these signs are just like actual times that people are having feelings, just like generations. Every generation has a gap between it because they actually supposed to grow together. If you don't talk to the elders and the young folks, then you're not going to get what your generation is. You're going to get caught in the middle of the world and try to be the center of attention or something. Like Peter Pan is about the ones who kind of get that's the astral plane. He didn't want to grow older, so he ended up learning the whole imagination scheme of how to get people out of their dreams. That's Peter, who ended up getting locked up in the Bible and didn't feel like he should get the same fate as Jesus, so he was hung upside down because his mind, Jesus was like, man, give me the most powerful punishment, whatever. But Peter is somebody that steals children's imagination. He takes them to a whole nother world to get them outside of this world. And when he gets them outside of this world, they not growing in this world. So when he had the Lost Boys, he has short-term memory because Peter Pan is somebody that lies so much that he forgets stuff throughout the movie. He forgets about the Lost Boys. He forgets to feed them. He made them have to imagine that food was in front of them to eat. So it's like he really is somebody that was a devilish person, never grew up. And if you ever seen Happily Ever After, Peter Pan was like the grandfather of the whole fairy tale screen because he was like, again, he don't grow old. He looks like a boy, but he's an old man.
He's an old man in child form. He lived so long that Captain Hook was trying to get him up out of that world. Captain Hook is like what Jesus was talking about with fish. It's fish in the pond. So with the fish out here, those are who we call the NPCs now, because they just gonna go into the school of fish. They're gonna follow, you know what I'm saying, the stream of things. They're not gonna get outside of that wave. Pinocchio. Pinocchio was Casanova effect. He doesn't lie as much as Peter Pan because Peter Pan knows ancient wisdom. Pinocchio is just a newborn root. He came from a tree. He doesn't know the world. So when he was lying, he didn't understand he was lying. He was lying from fear. So when he was scared to tell the truth, that's when his nose would grow, and that's goes back to the Peter effect, because the Peter is the low chakra where people are operating with a serpent mind, and when you operate with your serpent mind, people sneak each other for out of what they would think is love, but it's flesh love. It's like they want to have sexual activities to get out again their mind and into somebody else's mind, so they connect and they connect to somebody. That's a whole again worlds combining. That's why they tell you about the tree of knowledge. Adam and Eve sin was they had relations too early. With them having relations too early, it just brought in a whole world of sin. And in the Bible, it puts every sin in your mind. So that's why you have to escape the thought of any of the old ancestors and forgive all of them to know that they gave you a piece of their memory for us to know what's going on right now. So we learning some stuff. And then Aladdin, that's the genie effect. So with some people that can see things that other people can't see. The genes are actually like back in the day. That's why they got jinn now. A jinn is something that you can summon from like ancient wisdom, like artifacts to Bible hemp paper and stuff. So there's people that done burnt Bible pages that probably be seeing different genes and stuff like Death Note. That's what this is. This is people that be summoning creatures that can talk to them spiritually. And when talking to them spiritually, they follow them for a long time, but they try to take control of their life because they try to jump into their soul. So if you ever seen the movie Get Out, that's what Get Out is about. People can jump into your mind and then they can take control of your body, because it could be again somebody that was trapped in this world in the astral plane because they didn't know to go to the light and just like actually get called and accepted into heaven. When you get accepted into heaven, you do have to go to an underworld process where they show all of the different things that you did wrong and this and stuff, what you could have did right, pathways and that. So people are scared to actually come to that light of sense. And with them thinking that they ain't forgiven by God, they stay in this astral plane as jinns that's giving knowledge of what they know. And when they try to get in somebody's body or become a human, they can again take form of people. That's another thing we gotta watch for. And they are very trickative. You know what I'm saying? They might ask a lot of questions, steal energy from people, all that. So that's why I be like, with the false prophets, you gotta watch who you watching on TikTok, because some people ain't giving no knowledge at all. They just like throw you into a abyss. Abyss is like, oh, look at this, y'all. Look at that, y'all. Look at this, y'all. Look at that, y'all. What's going on here, y'all? Come on, somebody can answer me. They lying to us. They lying to us. We truth seekers. We truth seekers. Like, they energy is so combusted because they still are in a child mindset. Like, we are getting to generation alpha. Us getting to generation alpha, we getting our powers back. And some people cannot stay in their head, so they have to get all that energy released. And with them getting their energy released, they starting to put it on the internet. And with them putting it on the internet, they getting everybody looking in the wrong direction. Like, and then people talk about, oh man, it's a lie and that's a lie. Nothing is a lie until they accept it as a lie. And that's how they get stuck here, because they lying to themselves. So watch who lies for themselves. Use your intellect as your discernment is like, well, they don't relate to me, so I know they ain't talking about me. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't relate to you, you understand. But this is just some spiritual stuff. Like, everybody grew up watching these movies. These movies have hidden knowledge. This is Atlantis. Like, Atlantis is again Neptune. That's Poseidon. It's a whole stuff about this stuff that's been told. These are folklores, mythologies. They try to clean it up because this is not a world for children. You know what I'm saying? We are all God's children. So we actually come back in as a child, but we still might have an old spirit with us. And with us having an old spirit, we know what this stuff is talking about. So blocking curse words is just blasphemy. Blaming somebody for anything that's going on with your situation, when we like we can get out these problems. Any problem that we get is just letting us know it's a materialistic world. You're not supposed to be attached to all this substance. So something that we are attached to sometimes is devouring us. That's what's eating us here. You know what I'm saying? Like we went from eating the foods, and now as people becoming obese, they gotta eat for enjoyment. You know what I'm saying? You got people that use drugs, it's drugs and everything because nothing new under the sun. So how can they just create something in a lab that wasn't created by God? That's what we really got to discover. And if it hasn't taken us out, that's because we are still soul imbalanced. And death is an acceptance. You have to leave. All right, so these we know these the same kids, right? And you know they the same kids because it teaches you the adolescence versus the childlike mindset. So the children have a deeper imagination, so they could explore the world inside, and then these are the ones that explore the world outside. With them exploring the world inside, the deep dive is this is the magical school bus. So when we went to school, you might have heard of Gus the Bus. If you was like from the the what's our generation, millennial generation, and Gus the Bus, it was somebody in the back that knew like had a whole spreadsheet of all the kids' names and stuff, and they was talking through a microphone. You know what I'm saying? And like they knew the kids, so it made you feel special. And it's like, oh, how this person knew me because they was introducing us to that robotic stage, and then we inside the rope. You know what I'm saying? Actual machine, mechanical machine speaking to us and stuff, and we are moving mechanisms. So with us learning that we're moving mechanisms, when they get to the adolescent age, this is when they try to save the world. So them trying to save the world, they get discoveries, they combine, and when they combine, they make Captain Planet, which is a spirit that overcomes, you know what I'm saying, that's putting all these nationalities together, but this represents the whole phase of America, because it's the first country where it's just all these different souls combined, and with all these different souls, some of us learning that, oh, we old souls because we got hidden knowledge that a lot of people don't even know and haven't explored yet, because the inner healing, once you do that process, you like everything heals with water. Everything healing with water reminds you about the beginning of the time, because this water, this whole earth was just a body of water that's inside of a cage. That's the firmament. So with us being in a cage, we getting our sea legs. It's like you come from Atlantis and you learning how to walk, but it tells you in the serpent stage. The serpent stage is basically just crawling. It's on the belly. That was the curse. You get on your belly, you don't have memory, you learn how to walk. Once you learn how to walk, about 3 years old, you start developing your conscious, you getting some sense, and then once you get sense, by age 7, you know what I'm saying? You develop that sense by 8. You kind of got your personality from the family, and then so on and so forth. By 10, they say you know who you are. And then going on, you lose yourself within this school system, but then the school system is just teaching you what's called the Church of Science. That's why they remove the Bible. They remove the Bible because they tell you about the world instead of you learning the world from your own people. When you learn the world from your own people, you start doing street economics, like you go around talking to other people, other souls. You start finding out everybody got familiarities. It's like we all here just trying to do something for our family. With us doing something for our family, some people get broken, some people expand. The people that get broken, we're gonna see them more on the streets, and the people that expand, you're gonna see them probably in a business or something. Because what families do, like all these businesses like Walmart things, they do it for their people. With them doing it for their people, they built up stuff that was supposed to help the world, but then it's passed down in generations, and generations break it because they don't understand the gifts that they got received. So just giving people gifts, it's gonna teach them about this outside world. It's not gonna teach them about their inside. The Bible is something that's a book that teaches us about the inside, but exploring it is hard because of the words that it has. It breaks translation, where people sometimes get aggressive thoughts like, man, I cannot understand this. It might make them feel like they can't read things because all them big words in the beginning. But when you study mythologies, that's why I'm like, the Bible is about a bunch of superheroes, and now we're in the time phase of information where you can look up these stories and get interpretation and translations from scholars that did research on it. And that is what makes this world beautiful, because we open now. We more open, we more honest. People are knowing which paths they want to take. Some people are exploring and finding out their realms. And then I'm about to take y'all on like a flight real quick, you know what I'm saying? Because like, so I'm somebody that grew up always liking Jordans, but then me liking Jordans is because of the air on it. Like me wanting to fly all the time, walking on air, the Nike, the Goddess. So I have different things that I like cling to that I like, and then when I study where that even came from, that gives a better insight of why I even favored it. Because sometimes materials do remind you of your ancient self. Like It's a lot of stuff out here that's gonna remind you of who you was in trace of time. Cause I even get the two strands all the time to remember the DNA that's within us. It's always mixed and intertwined. And with it intertwined and twinkle, you are the twinkle of the star with the rocket ship that you came from. Cause everybody came here to explore. You guaranteed, or you get up to like 100 years, but some people sign contracts before they even got here spiritually. Well, they didn't want to spend the whole 100 years because they been here before and they know how, you know what I'm saying, disastrous it is. So they on the other side trying to help. But you cannot take yourself out the game, and you do not want these spirits to take you out either. So it's always trying to think above, you know what I'm saying, go on that flight. If you remember the Campbell's commercial, when that can dropped because that kid wanted it, and then it rolled with him out the stove, and then his mama popped on the hand like, "What you steal that for?" Nah, that part ain't happened. But it's telling you about damaged goods. Cause I used to work at a grocery store. I done worked at so many different places. Cause you learn skills and you start to see the behind the scenes to tell people what goes on. So when a can drops on the ground, that's called damaged goods. It's called damaged goods because somebody gonna complain about it. Somebody gonna think that the inside of it isn't working this properly, you know what I'm saying, or the food or something that happened to it just because it dropped. But it's so much protection on the outside that it's like it's nothing wrong with what's going on in the inside. But that with that being damaged goods, it's free now. With it being free, it's free to roam. And when it being free to roam, it followed that kid outside the store because it dropped to the ground, and that's somebody that wanted it. So when somebody wanted it, that's somebody that picked it up and was able to enjoy what was inside of that can. So that's what we here for. Everybody is damaged goods down here. So instead of, you know what I'm saying, being on the shelf, like trying to get bought and all this, you gotta know that somebody is gonna pick you off the ground. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta be that person also to fulfill them. So it's a reciprocal barter system. So like if this is the person that matches your energy, and both of y'all know, hey, everybody down here suffering, but when we in the home together, we gonna be each other's comfort. That's how you do a relationship. That's where you find your comfort zone, and that's what unconditional love is. Because you know both y'all went through things, and y'all do not have to put each other through that. You know what I'm saying? And you gonna go outside the world, explore it, but when you come back, home is always supposed to be peace. Because if it's not peace, it's just a house, and if it's just a house, you know what I'm saying, you in a box. You just in a box, and with you being in a box, there's gonna be some bad spirits floating around that mug because it's emptiness still in there, because it's not a love that's possessed, and they trying to warn you like, nah, get away from each other. You know what I'm saying? Don't stay too long. That's why they give you lease agreements on these apartments, and if you again want to buy a home, it's something that has to be built up with inside, and then y'all cherish that together. Alright, so I want to talk about fact and fiction, right? Because anything they put on TV is most likely going to be fiction. And then you can look on YouTube, look up things, and find out what's fact. Alright, so this right here was about the Trojan War. They was trying to find out if it was fact or fiction. And scholars found out, the Trojan War was fact, but it was 3,000 years ago. And the scholars, though, they not that spiritual because they too in the book. And with them not being spiritual, they try to take out the gods that was in that war. So they just tell the war. In this video, they just told the story about how the war went on. And there's other videos that tell how the gods were speaking to people, because that was the first civil war between some gods. Like that's when they betrayed Zeus, because Zeus fell asleep during this war by Hypnos. And that's why I be telling people about Hypnos and Morpheus. Hypnos put Zeus to sleep after he told them to kill the war. He told them to stop fighting. They wouldn't listen. You know what I'm saying? They kept going. Apollo during this war created some poisonous arrows, and that's why I be saying Fletcher is my last name, and that stands for arrow maker. So like everybody is defined by something and wants labels, but then our name was already something gifted to us, which has a definition to it too. And then we gotta learn like we can create other names. So let me speak on like something else I'm gonna talk about too. I got Trump videos. I don't really support Trump, right? I be looking at it like this. If the way that the world moves with America, they gonna put blame on somebody all the time. So whoever win presidency, they gonna get blamed for this country. Trump's somebody that works around things. Like he ain't gonna take blame for nothing. So he gonna try to figure things out. But Kamala, she's just gonna take that fall. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to see that black woman or that Indian woman, whatever she is, take that fate like that. And the fates is somebody that tell people about the you know what I'm saying, the forecomings of things. Those are three people that measure like the string of time for people, because we like in a sand castle, y'all, you know what I'm saying. Your body is the moving water. That's why Jesus keeps speaking about fish, because you got to see, like, out here we walking, like we floating, we wondering, we finding out what's going on. All right, so these are the same people to me, because 6ix9ine, all these people, Puff Daddy, Lil Durk, you know what I'm saying, Melly is a little different from them in his case, and then Young Thug, same people. You know what I'm saying? All of them wrote hits, and I'm not talking about hit songs. I'm talking about they wrote the persecution of somebody. So they wanted to take somebody out. You know what I'm saying? And it was from jealousy, and jealousy grows to envy when you betray your brothers. So that's what they did. They betrayed their brothers, and this was what the Trojan War was about too. So this was a priest that got warned that that horse that they was bringing in was, you know what I'm saying, had the Greeks in it. So they got warned that the Greeks was in the horse by him. But what ended up happening, and his name is Lacking. And it's crazy, they be like, don't caught lacking out here. Lacking, that's his name. So Lacking, right? Lacking was telling them in the war. And Dirk made a song, What Happened to Virgil? And we thought, you know what I'm saying, that might have been Virgil that created Off-White, but Virgil the one that wrote the Odyssey and the Iliad. And then you have Homer that wrote the Trojan War. So Homer Simpson, how people be thinking Simpsons be getting all these predictions. Come on, they studying ancient history, because that's how these minds work. They still work the same. We keep living thousands of years. And again, this war was 3,000 years ago. This Bible came out, and this is why Zeus is one of the people in charge, because Zeus would have been the spirit inside of Jesus, but he would have came in human flesh. So this means that Zeus was created before this book was made, and then he was actually one of the people that's in the book, because he died for people to know that you're supposed to be here to sacrifice yourself. Because in this war, the person that wouldn't fight was Achilles. Achilles wouldn't fight because they kept like breaking Achilles' heart. Like Hector would not give up a woman during the war, so he ended up taking Achilles' girl, and Hector was like the king, but Achilles was his greatest fighter. So he took his greatest fighter woman, and then he told this man to fight for him. And the man was like, no, I'm not fighting for you, bro. Why would I fight for you and you done took my woman? So then Achilles' best friend ended up putting on his armor, went out there, tried to fight for Achilles' honor, ended up getting, you know what I'm saying, killed by Odysseus, I believe. Or it was someone that killed him. I gotta rewatch it, but someone killed him and knew, oh man, now I gotta fight Achilles, because Achilles gonna come raging. Because Achilles was a demigod, and Achilles was somebody that you couldn't stop when it came to that fight, because he was so fast, except for if you hit him in the heel, because every man has a weakness. And his weakness was actually just his heart, for real. But alright, so let's talk about 6ix9ine first. Wrote out a hit for somebody, and then everybody looked at him like he was a snitch, because he just told on all the people that tried to, take him out later. But he's still gonna suffer from his little oppression, because what he did is always gonna be remembered. So he can't go nowhere safe. So shoot, it's just as dangerous for him in the streets as it is for him locked up. So really, he probably be locked up in the crib or whatever. But yeah, he did the same thing Young Thug did. Young Thug sat there and wrote songs. Like, he done wrote hits for his people to go out there and do this and do that, and then he wrote songs about it. So that told the informants, that told the police about it and stuff. And once they found out, he keep getting his money wasted in court, because the lawyer ain't doing nothing but being an actor to make it look like he on his side, but he's not. The lawyer is on everybody else's side, because the lawyer worked for them people. So what the lawyer is actually doing is putting on the show. He putting on the show because Young Thug told on himself in interrogation. When he told on himself in interrogation, it's stuff that they can't fight, because he told on himself. He had the right to remain silent, but he was on the pill. With him being on that pill, he told everything, because that's what it does. It's the same thing as alcohol. It makes people honest, and he just sitting there foaming at the mouth on that joint, telling everything. Like, he like, yeah, YSL the gang and all that. Like, he told on himself, and with him telling on himself, that's the only reason why they let Gunna out, because Gunna like, well, my lawyer's saying I gotta admit to this, because if I don't, that's false allegation. And false allegation, he would have got locked up for Young Thug. So it's like Young Thug messed up the whole kingdom for him. Like that's the man that built a kingdom with a stack of cards. When you build a kingdom with a stack of cards, it's just gonna collapse. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter who it is. It's not gonna be sturdy. It's not gonna be steady. Should have used some Lego blocks. Now you gotta Lego the situation. All right, now this one I already knew this happened because this is a man that he couldn't control. With him not being able to control him, once he got his fame, he was gonna outshine him. And with him outshining him, Dirt wasn't gonna be able to hold him, tell him nothing. And once he got his own money, Dirt was like, oh, you gotta get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? Same thing that happened to YMW Melly, because he had dudes that was like pretty much extorting him. Those wasn't his homeboys, those people that was taking money from him. And then he got to the point where he just put it in his own hands. Then P. Diddy, same thing. But P. Diddy got saved by some ancestors because every time he tried to do something, it didn't go as planned, but it still went down. So he was doing spiritual contracts. He was like setting people up to fall. He had Biggie and Tupac create this whole war, and when it created a war, it separated our people because we were separated by sides. And when it separated us, he had to detonate something on the spiritual end, which let both of them pass away. And when both of them pass away, it's called for the greater good, because that wakes up everybody to realize, oh man, we lost a talent that we cannot get back. Because once somebody is created, you cannot duplicate it. It's not possible. Our voices don't sound the same. Our looks is not the same. Our achievements is not the same. Our beliefs is not the same. Like, everyone was created different on this earth in order to meet everyone and be meek. Like, we supposed to inherit the land with each other. And that's why we live check to check, because we not supposed to worship the royalties that they try to get to us. And the taxes that we get go overseas because they keep having us donate, because they know that we the Israelites. Like, the Israelites are people of peace. And that's people that don't want to see their brothers in chains. All right, so now, Juice WRLD, that was another sad story, but that was somebody for the greater good. And look how they got the snake right here looking dead at him, because it symbolizes this. Because when he told them what was going to happen in the Trojan War, they didn't listen to him. So when that horse got in there, the whole war went, and they was cheering and everything for the horse while he trying to stab the horse and tell people, hey, I'm trying to hear if somebody's inside the horse. Like, he was using his logic. And Poseidon ended up sending some snakes. And when Poseidon sent them snakes, they poisoned them. And this is a 6'8" statue. Now, that's why I'm saying that's fact. So look at this right here. Bless those who persecute you. Don't curse them. Pray that God will bless them. Be happy with those who are happy and weep with those who weep. Live in harmony with each other. Don't be too proud to enjoy the company of ordinary people, and don't think you know it all. Never pay back evil with more evil. Do things in such a way that everyone can see you are honorable. Do all that you can live in peace with everyone. Because this is not the reality. This is like a false life, but this is something that we still have achievements in. And then we got goals afterwards. So I was watching this with the Knights Templar and the Freemasons, how they got different things they worship. Knights Templar is more of a John the Baptist worship. Freemasons study demonology, but then this is from like an Egyptian scroll that I was talking about earlier, where it was like mentioning Zeus, because Zeus stayed in Egypt for a long time. And when I tell people like Jesus and Zeus is the same person, I'm saying what happened was Zeus came before Jesus. So it's not a copy of the story, but it's actually just telling you like he came in human form and he sacrificed himself so people can understand the higher learning of what the Bible is talking about when it came to this day and age. Because it's more like, it's you have to be like the sacrifice for your family. And with you being the sacrifice for your family is you go out there and you achieve whatever you dreamed of, because we came in this world with some type of like, you know what I'm saying, some type of imagination or some type of world we wanted to see. And it wasn't the world that we wanted, because you got to learn faith. Learning faith is walking by, what is it, walking by sight? No, walking by, yeah, we know it. Walk by faith and not by sight. That's it. I don't know why the word blind wanted to be in my head so bad. Because it be some days where I get why Ray Charles used to hug himself, because he had a whole different vision that nobody else knew what it was going on. So, shoot, it's always going to be power to the people. And with the power to the people, we converting back to getting spiritual, becoming a community. We know we got to build up around each other. And now we get in the phase where like some people ain't who they say they are. And with the people that surround you, you know, because you just gotta be honest. As long as you honest, you stay honest, you asking the right questions when they pop in the mind, you find out who with you and who against you. Because money and money is like two things that was used for magic. So it was a bread like the stuff that they ate in Egypt, or when they was in Numbers with Moses, when God fed them the bread from the sand. That's something that they use for magic nowadays too. And they switched it from it was MANI to now it's money. It was like money, mana or something like that. I can't. This pronunciations be so wow, but it was something that they used for magic. That's why I say that money got black sand on it. I got videos way back when I'm burning the dollar to show people, look how this money like just burn, and then they never changed the dollar bill image or the way that it's created. So it's something on it that make it addicting. That's how you be knowing spell casting. Because when you give money to somebody and you know what I'm saying, you expect either a return or it's certain things here. I don't never get mad at nobody, but I literally just watch how when I give them some money, how they act afterwards without saying anything, because it shows characteristics of that person. So like somebody can really show if they treating you like family or if they just treating you like a pawn. And you being a pawn meaning they gonna always try to collect on you. That's the bone collector. They like, all right, anytime I'm struggling to need money, this is the person I'm gonna hit up. And that's when you be like, bro, get your morals straight. I'm not a bank. Everybody's struggling. I don't even like collecting money no more because when I had it, I don't buy nothing. I don't need everything that everybody be needing, and people started getting loans from me. And even with me, like starting to do sell dope in the street, standing on corners and shit like that, hustling, giving fronts out. Like you really find out how to become an accountant of what your money, expenses, all that is. Because shit, I would be at $0, and then I would just make up like 500 to that night, like. And then when I make that money, it's like breaking that shit down, taking people out to eat, buying shoes, shit. Like I'm just wasting the fuck out of it. It's fast money. I wasn't even thinking about it, but them years ago. Now I try to slow all that down because I got videos I'm showing like I try to stack money, make a savings, but shoot, somebody gonna hack your account. You're gonna get this scam after this scam after this scam, and then the banks is shutting down and closing and stuff. Man, it's like shit. What can you trust in this motherfucking country? But I do trust and believe in the spiritual highness of like knowing that it's a higher self, a higher version. This right here, testing testimony. Cause on the other side, you just gotta be one of them grim reapers. So shit, it's letting you know like, hey, check the lists, make sure you know what I'm saying. You get everything here, and then people gotta be accountable for themselves sometimes. Cause shit, we all goddamn out here struggling until you can find your soulmate. Like them people and a soulmate. Somebody explained to me, it's like that's not just the person you plan to marry. But that's somebody that you already sometimes married to. So soulmates is families, you know what I'm saying? People that think about you when you don't think about yourself.
All right, now this right here, Death Note, this breaks down that book for real, cause this is the study of demonology. All right, so this is gonna tell you the light and the dark side. So you know, L representing the light. L representing the light, even though his name was light, he was getting the light stolen from him because he started following the Shimigami. So he following a demonic creature that he done summoned, and this tells you why everything happens for a reason. Cause the creature as above, so below. When you use that metric, this creature, the Shimigami, already knew that he was bored because both of them was bored at the same time. He was bored in his dimension. He was bored in his dimension. So he ended up dropping a book off for him to find. When he found the book, that's when he witnessed him. But you gotta remember the book was stolen. So he gave him a book that was stolen, not the original book, but it was for somebody else. Cause this whole time he had a book and he had his whole plan. So while he's still in the light from him, this somebody that already studied the darkness, because this person grew up in it. L was the one that grew up in the darkness. He came from a foster home, so he already was in search for his father figure, just how anybody would be if they didn't have no type of parental guidance. They got to find it. So he studied the world, learned people moves, objectives, and all that. So he already knew
that it was something going on that was unusual. Once he found out something that was going on unusual, he was the only one that could solve it by the tricks and the traits that he was doing. But he had to test his morals because he was like, well, if this is a God doing this, let me see if he gonna do this, that, because he was looking at it from his logic. And then with him looking at it from his logic, El was throwing out tricks, and then he was like, nah, that ain't how God will operate. You know what I'm saying? Because this is like the way this person is moving. It's like a child. This is somebody that doesn't have a comprehension level of God yet. Because you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You have to be above. Like you have to look down. Like even in the story of Job, it tells you it's an omnipresence. God's gonna strike at any time. So sometimes people can get away with a whole bunch of stuff, but then that's because in the afterlife or the next dimension, that's when they gonna see that ticket. All right, so while he losing his light, he thinking he getting away with it. He making the world a game. At first, he started off thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm just getting rid of the villains," but that ended up giving him that mentality where he was the Messiah mentality. He like, "Nah, I'm the savior. It's everything in my logic is correct. So anybody that's in my way or standing in my way, they don't know what's right." You know what I'm saying? So he started taking out officers, everything. Like he just got more demonic as he used that book because it's spell casting. So he kept using it, kept using it, kept using it. Then you see more throughout the season. He started running into problems. Other people that had the book too. Then he seen how other people was misusing their books, thinking he could take their books from them. So then it just kept going until he got to that end where he just went crazy because it was done. And then that's when the Shimigami was like, bro, I'm done watching this dude. I'm done giving this dude, you know what I'm saying, information. I'm done trying to help him. And he barely helped him on some of them. He was just like trying to make him figure it out to see if he could get out of them situations. So he would pop up when he wanted to pop up. And when he did pop up, what did he need? That apple. He needed a reward back. So it's like that was the snake. That's the serpent mind that kept coming in. So this whole show, if you watched it or you haven't, I ain't gonna spoil nothing and tell everything that happened, but it's a great thriller, like for real. And then man, when you see how like corrupt he get more and more to the point where like even his daddy was in his way, bro was going ham because they said like with the death note, once you sell your soul over to them, they gonna own that junk. And that's what happens in a lot of situations. Like if you see with them Freemasons, like they don't let you know everything about demonology because some of them sold their soul, but their soul can always be saved. But it has to be saved by like you know what I'm saying, a child. So that's the thing. So some people can summon some deities here, and some people, you know what I'm saying. I ain't gonna give out too much information. You want to watch this? It's really based on Freemasons and Knight Templars. If you don't heard of the Knight Templars, those are the people from Atlantis. They also be practicing stuff. They worship John the Baptist though, because it's different religions that be worshiping different disciples. Like it's 9,000 religions, y'all. 9,000 religions. And all of them do go from Christianity, but Christianity tried to take a boatload of all of them. And that was a true story, but it's again, some of it's fabricated. So they switch some of it. It become a fiction book once they take out the chapters that tell the truth. So they done switched the names. They done took out the women chapters. They didn't keep all of the secrets in there because it's a long story. But just the short thrill of it is life is a Bible itself. So we always being tested. So everybody being tested, you have the eyes of Horus now where you can see everybody else's vision, but then you have to witness your own too. All right, so let's talk about Trump real quick, right? So people was like, when Trump was like, they eat the dogs, they eating the cats. They was like, he racist because he was talking about Haitians. But man, that man was like, this is why we lost in translation because Trump speak a whole nother language than us. He doesn't speak like how black people do. They get this man some information. He doesn't fully research. He go out there and shout out what they told him. So he came out there. He was concerned about the dogs and cats. He was like, yo, the dogs and cats is missing. Somebody gotta find the dogs and cats. He like, but nah, that man is funny. His team funny. His team talking court just like YSL Woody, because they'll be like, so do y'all have proof of this speculation that you bringing? And then his team will say something like, do y'all have proof that it's not real what we're talking about? Like they just flip the whole table on. They be like, nah, y'all find proof that what we saying is lying because yeah, we don't have to prove it to y'all. Y'all gotta prove us wrong. That shit. That's different, man. And look, he rolled with Vlad. Vlad, right? This is Vlad the Impala, and Vlad the Impala, or Impala, whatever his name is, was like the person Dracula is based off of, because of how he used to stake people when he used to pass, kill them and stuff. So he was like the first vampire, and he also is related to like Queen Elizabeth, who they was calling the witch. But look at this: the Russian president Vladimir Putin and his entourage take the spirit world seriously. You can look that stuff up about Putin. Putin don't be playing that, man. And he rolled with Trump. That's why I be like, yeah. And then, shoot, Vlad Impala, real life century Romanian military governor, and ruler who was known for his cruel punishment of his enemies. He was born in the 1400s, you know what I'm saying, Transylvania, now Romania, and died in 1476, north of present-day Bratwurst, Romania. He was also known as Vlad Dracula, or Vlad Dracula and Vlad. These Vlad people. You know why we don't like Vlad TV? Because Vlad TV never takes accountability. He don't take accountability for nothing he does. We don't trust men that can't take accountability for nothing they do. Like every time Vlad says, oh, well, he said that on the show. But if you look at how Vlad talks to the people, he kind of forces them to talk about that because he brings up pillow talking information, and he be like, so, yeah, I seen Boozy and this, that, and I didn't like how he did that. What do you think about it? And then when they talk about Vlad, they like, bro, Vlad, why you mention my name? He be like, well, he didn't have to answer the question. Vlad, you didn't have to ask that shit. Be a man, take responsibility, take accountability. If you know you getting these people in trouble, bro, like, watch what you saying. You are an interviewer. You should know the effects of what you're saying and how it's gonna goddamn spread. Like, that's why I don't trust Vlad at all. He didn't want to get on TV and show his face until he got hair implants. And then he just got on there talking about looks the whole time. And I was like, if you judge other men off looks, that's something like, I don't know, like, because you can't tell me what another handsome man look like. That means you just really, like, sat there, thought about it, compared him to this man and that man. Like, bro, just be yourself, God, dog.